Alive, and I'm very happy that we are here. Hello, everybody. I'm super excited to be here with you this Sunday evening on December 10th, 2023. Believe it or not, I was about to say March 10th. Why? I don't have a clue. We'd have to take a peek to see what was going on March 10th. Am I talking about March 10th of 2023?
Oh, no, you're talking about March 10th of 2024.
Okay, so I'll have to take a peek to see what is going on at that point since it's so far ahead. Hello,
has a
everybody.
big circle on it.
What's that?
The spring has a big circle on it.
Oh, okay. So we are here, Kitty and I, and if you know anything about Kitty and I, when we come together for two reasons. First reason is we want to play. Anytime the two of us come together, we're playing. And then, of course, we have to be teachers. We're here to give you insight, share insight with you so you can navigate through the energies that we are moving into. Before we dive into this topic for today, I do want to remind everybody that as of tomorrow, which is December 11th, 12th, and 13th are three major portal energies for us. Big portal periods, and I'm going to talk about that in between when Kitty chats about all this energy with Mercury Retrograde for that matter. So as Kitty is going to take center stage and just introduce herself and share a little bit about the title for today, I'm going to make sure we are streaming where we need to be streaming. So Kitty, hello, my love.
Hello, and if you're seeing smoke, it is smoke. I'm saging as we speak, as we talk about, people have added a lot of other energy into Mercury retrograde, always. And it's one of those things that if we can learn to look at the gift of Mercury retrograde, you've already been in the shadow period of it. You'll be in the shadow period. It goes direct again on January. It moves retrograde this Wednesday on the 13th, and it moves direct again on January 1st. And then it'll be another couple of weeks of kind of cleaning it up. But when Mercury goes retrograde, it's all about the pause. Mercury retrograde, Mercury is a planet that is both air and Earth. It is the planet of Virgo, all the smaller nuances, which is why when Mercury goes retrograde, it's the little pieces that seem to get us, that have us moving along and come to a screeching halt. And in Capricorn, which is what Mercury's in right now, that's such an interesting one because it's kind of a gentle halt because Capricorn is our bigger energy. Mercury retrograde often is issues with money, technology, because it's about our experience and our technologies and how we communicate. But Mercury retrograde is always a gift of time because as we're moving along, things just don't work out because they're to have us take up that pause and really realign those little pieces, realign what our experiences are, and kind of, I really think, Joanne, it's kind of sorting our judgments in a lot of ways, how we deal with things, what comes up for us in those kind of blips that we're talking about. And it's really this particular one is the time to sort something up because Capricorn's about the bigger energy. It's about our potential. It's about the overall arching themes. And you might be finding that really finishing some of those things you thought were really big and important, you're not going to take the time to finish them. And the other things that have been kind of feeling like I got to get to, you're like, you know what? Excuse the expression. Oh, there goes my bell. Damn
it. We're going to start ringing bells.
Damn it, I'm going to get that done. It's clearing out that old stuff because I really want to get to that fresh beginning. Now, Mercury will leave Capricorn and go into Sagittarius, which is very interesting. Mercury it's its exiled position, but it's kind of happy in Sagittarius. And as all of these structures we're taking a look at, when it passes back into Sagittarius, there will be some truths that come out. So during this time, there's going to be a lot of people who will be saying things like, I'm just telling it like it is. No, they're sharing their delusions with you. And this is this Mercury retrograde is, how am I going to communicate about this? How am I going to experience this? And this is, as my friend Daphne always says, this is a great time to concentrate on, well, you do you. So it's a very, in Capricorn, is really, really an interesting time. And of course, it's clearing out the end of the year, letting go of those things. Plans are going to change in December because of Mercury's retrograde. Things you thought had to be for this holiday season. And I think 2022, 2021, certainly people were trying to make up for 2020. And so that still may be a piece in the air, but this particular Christmas holiday season of the plans aren't going to go as planned, whether it's weather, whether it's illness, whether it's, I just don't want to do it. All of a sudden I'm going to wake up one day and go, no, it's not for me. So it's a very interesting time. And it's amazing. We have these portals leading right into this time.
Yes, and I'm glad Kitty has mentioned the portal period. I'm speaking slower only because it just seems like with Mercury retrograde, we want to talk so fast that I sort of trip over my own words by trying to talk so quickly. And there's no need to talk quickly. Everything I need to get out will get out in the timely manner that I need to get out.
And that is Mercury retrograde. It is a slowing down to process, to communicate. Now, like I said, there will be people who are going to be going, bleh, and you're going to go, wow.
Yeah, I like to call that, the phrase that I use when people do that is diarrhea of the mouth, where they blurring out just a whole bunch of stuff. And it's like, oh, you got diarrhea of the mouth. Like, you might want to slow it down some and pause before you say what it is you think you want to say, because you may not really want to say what you think you want to say. In addition to, as Kitty was bringing up, and I had mentioned it as we were coming live, and before we dive into it, we are streaming on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube right now. So whoever pops in, let us know you are here by saying hello. And we would love to know that you are here. I have tagged a few people who usually watch. Hopefully they'll be able to watch with us live. Otherwise, if not, know that this will definitely be on my YouTube channel. And then I'll share it out to Kitty's group as well. So it will be someplace floating around in the air that you'll be able to come back and watch it again.
The universe will be bringing it to you.
Exactly. So in addition to this Mercury retrograde taking place on December 13th, I mean, yes, as Kitty said, we are in the shadow period of this energy. And many, many people that I've spoken to over the last 2 weeks, like myself, have actually been feeling this Mercury retrograde energy way before the shadow period. Like the shadow period is a 7-day phase. And I've been feeling this for 14 days. It's like I've had little spurts of like different things that would happen, specifically with technology, where it's like, are we in Mercury retrograde?
Before we came on?
Exactly. So in addition to this Mercury retrograde, as I've said, we have portals. Now, for those of you who may be new to this language of portal, what a portal is the veil between the spiritual realm and the human realm is extremely thin. And the energy of the portal literally starts from heaven or starts from the ground, which is the earth. So that energy is coming from one direction to the other. And we don't know which way it's coming, but it's literally activating your chakra system. Now, if for whatever the reasons are, you have a chakra or two that might be a little sluggish right now, that means that energy is going to get stuck. And that stuck energy may show up as physical pain, and it could very well amplify illness or disease. Now, does this mean you need to go and run to the doctor to find out what the hell is going on? If that's what you need to do, go do it. However, just note that whatever you have going on, there's always two sides to a coin. The medical side of things and the metaphysical side of things. And if you've been feeling fine up until now, and then all of a sudden, whatever it is starting to flares up, take a minute to pause, because there's a really good possibility that whatever it is actually being amplified just from the portal to catch your attention. because that's what portals are for. They're to catch our attention and recognizing that our veil is becoming really, really thin, meaning that we are becoming, our vibration is becoming more and more higher. And because our vibrations are becoming higher, we are becoming more intuitive, more sensitive to energy, which is why Kitty and I keep ringing the bell. One of these things that you may want to go out and get, because if you are feeling as though your energy is feeling a little stagnant, ringing a bell could be a really great way to get your energy to move. So, Portal 1 takes place tomorrow, which is December 11th. And when you write those numbers down, 12/11/2023, you're going to notice that there's a double 12 in that energy, in addition to that 11 vibration. So there's a big energy to remind you that you are the master healer. And as that 12 portal is about your relationship as an individual, but also your partnership with others as well. And remembering with Mercury in retrograde, this is an opportunity to pause and slow down a little bit and review the relationships you have with other people. In addition, December 12th, our 12/12 energy, and oh my God, that 12/12 energy is going to be loaded, because in addition to the 12/12 energy, we have the new moon in Sagittarius. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Kitty shared last week in one of our lives that in addition to the moon's energy, the moon is aligned with Mars. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot going on that day in itself. And again, we can't escape this energy. And then, of course, we have December 13th leading right into that Mercury retrograde. So this is a very powerful week of energy. And I recommend, to keep your energy flowing, so you can be more aligned with this energy, is to make sure you're moving your body. Make sure you're hydrating your body as well, because hydration is very, very important when we have this much energy going on in a very short period of time. So, Kitty, with this Mercury retrograde, now I know the title for today was based on Mercury retrograde. Is it really bad? Now, there's lots of people out there. You and I have talked about this behind the scenes on how there's so many other astrologers or whatever they may title themselves talking about how terrible Mercury retrogrades are, and oh my God, it's taboo, and run as fast as you can, because the little gingerbread man is going to get eaten. Is Mercury retrograde so bad? I don't really think so, but I'm going to save my point of view till after Kitty shares her point of view about Mercury retrogrades.
Well, first of all, it's where Mercury retrogrades in your chart. There is a piece of that in how. So, for example, Capricorn for me is first house, so it's seen. That's in my natal chart. This particular year in my solar return chart, it's the 10th house. So there's something seen in my career that may appear as if, because we're talking about Capricorn, we're talking about structure, we're talking about our persona, and it's very kind of physical in its overall of plans. So if you can think of it that way, it's the little parts of plans, because Mercury is the ruler of Virgo. So it's very earth. So it's going to be a physical thing. And it's very much the little pieces might not be supporting the big pieces, or the big piece are wiping out the little pieces. And so to me, I'm born with Mercury retrograde. No, it's not so bad. It's a time where we get a reminder to stop and look at our experiences and look at how we deal with that. I think that Mercury retrogrades, honestly, for some people, magnify because they buy into that. Oh, it might not be the best time to buy some piece of technology, but part of that might be it's to teach us to wait. It's to teach us to look at our internal experiences and how we're, because of that experience piece of Gemini, Mercury, and Virgo, how are we experiencing our life? Slow down, take a look at it. A reminder why plans fall apart. There's a reason. And so to answer your question, no, I don't think it's so bad.
Yes, yeah. Me neither. For me, I have Mercury in pausing there for a minute because I'm trying to remember. Oh, there you go. In Aquarius is where my is it Aquarius? Oh my God, I have a brain fart. Yes, it's in Aquarius in my eighth house energy. So for me, I find Mercury to be, especially when it's retrograde, a perfect time to really slow down and pause and reflect on whatever it is relating to Mercury. So for me, Mercury is about writing, speaking, learning, teaching, listening, and really being able to listen more to what it is people do say and how people do say what they do say. You know, not just based on their words, but how their actions say what they're saying. So it gives me a chance to just pause for a little while during that period of time. And yes, because I am sensitive to energy, sometimes Mercury will play tricks on me when it comes to technology. You know, and I always believe that when Mercury's in retrograde, it's just a little reminder for me to whatever it is I need to do. Like if I have something scheduled, make sure I get myself there a little earlier than usual, just because of whatever. So it's better to always be early than to be late. Like for example, tonight when we were coming on for the show, originally I had sent Kitty a Facebook message, which I deleted it. She didn't get to see it. Saying, I may need to go on at 8 p.m. because I'm not even home yet and I'm hungry. And, you know, I was on my way home and I'm like, okay, hopefully I can find parking and I have packages to bring into the house. So how long is this going to take me? Then I got to have something to eat. Then I got to set up. And considering I know how my computer gets sometimes, I have to set up to make sure it works and do what it needs to do. However, I took a pause, I breathed, and I said to myself, I said, you know what? I do not have to message Kitty and tell Kitty that we need to go out an hour later. Everything is going to work out because in the reality of things, there's no such thing as time. Time is a human, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a human
constraint.
Yes. Universally speaking, there is really absolutely no such thing as time. And if we all understand that, everything happens exactly how it needs to happen. And I myself have to really remind myself of that, you know, when things don't go as quote unquote plan, where I don't get all huffy and puffy when I want to blow someone's house down. So
You're going to be the big bad wolf.
yeah, sometimes I can get a little huffy and puffy, like, what the hell, why? You know? So, but yes. So I do not really believe Mercury is bad at all. And yes, there are things that you might want to pay attention to in reference that because Mercury is about traveling, it's about planning, it's about scheduling. It definitely has lots to do with technology, and it also has a lot to do with cars. So because the Mercury has all to do with that, it is important to pay attention to, okay, well, maybe this might be a good time, or prior to this time might be a good time to make sure everything is working in your car. You know, that you have enough gas, got enough oil, your tires are up to par, whatever it is you need to do for maintenance, just so this period of time, those things do not happen. Also, which I actually joke around this with my husband a lot because he tends to do this a lot during Mercury, and because he does work with cars all the time, he tends to buy cars during a Mercury retrograde. And I always tell him all the time, I'm like, buying a car during Mercury retrograde is never a good idea. Reason being is, for whatever the reason, because Mercury is related to cars, it's not always a great idea to buy a car during that time. Yet the flip side of that is, depending on where Mercury is on your chart, it could be the perfect time to buy a car. So it really, really depends. And that's really where, you know, Kitty and I come into play here in reference. We can guide you in reference. Is this a good time for you to be doing this? Or maybe you should pause and either wait before, you know, do it before, or wait till afterwards. You know, it won't kill you to pause.
So it's interesting because in the middle of this, which is something Spirit doesn't usually say to me, they're like, pull cards for Mercury retrograde. I'm like, what? Right now? I listen. So, as I open the deck, this is a tarot deck. This is the creator. Lily, her name is this is Aunt Lily's deck. This is Claire Lily. Hangman was sitting at the top. I'm like, yes, that's how a lot of people feel. And that's really what Mercury retrograde is about. Because that's why I said I want to know what this particular one. It's a hangman. And so what came up is really interesting. Transformation, coming out of the cocoon, along with the King of Cups, really coming out of the cocoon, understanding the emotional piece of you, how I want to deal with it, and how I want to deal with it as if I'm the royalty, as if I really, really get this whole overall picture very powerfully. And that's what this Mercury retrograde is really about, because it is that bigger picture at the end of the year, the end of our calendar year, our constraint energy, where we kind of go over this. And in the astrological year, there's 3 more months. It's the last, it'll be that last third of the year, last quarter. And it really is about what are my structures, and because I'm going to move into the vision of my structures, and then how do I flow with them. And so this particular one really does ask us, make your plans the best that you can, and say, and give yourself grace, because if there's something that wants to hold you in place that day, there's a reason. And this is really a big part of Mercury retrograde. How am I going to handle those things that do bring me the bump?
Yes. So. Yes. And question for you, Kitty, when it comes to Mercury retrograde. Now, we do not have a Mercury retrograde every year during December, do we?
No.
I was gonna say I don't remember having a Mercury retrograde every year.
No, we don't.
Yeah. So that's a good thing.
We have 3 or 4 in a year.
Yes.
And it depends how the calendar falls.
Yes. Yes. So I just wanted to clarify is the word I'm hearing. Clarify that for myself. So yes. And the day that Mercury spins back into Sagittarius, that's what day again? That is
the 29th.
The 29th.
Mm-hmm.
The 29th or 23rd?
I'm pretty sure it's the 29th, but I'm not 100% sure. Oh, that means you're going to make me get up.
No, you don't have to get up. I have my notes here. It's the 23rd.
Okay, what's the 29th? Oh, that's Venus moves into Venus moves into out of Scorpio into Sagittarius. Yeah.
Yes. Mercury dips back into Sagittarius until January 13th. And then from that point, it then returns back to Capricorn.
Yes? But it goes direct on the 1st.
Yes, exactly. Yes. So that's quite interesting. And let's talk about that energy on a day when Mercury dips back into Sagittarius. Talk to us about that.
Well, Mercury, which is the ruler of Gemini, Sagittarius is the opposite energy. And so it's called anything that is the opposite can be kind of like its exile position. But it's comfortable there because it's on its continuum. And this is part of that, what we're going to see with the sparking forth of truth and having come out of all of this, perhaps plans not following through at the end of the year. I anticipate, because it's physical, there's going to be some bigger storms across the end of the year that will disrupt New Year plans, disrupt travel plans.
Well, it's a good thing I don't have any New Year's plans. Yay!
I do have New Year's plans. I have company flying in on the 31st. But they're flying from cold places, so that's always, as you know, a crapshoot with the weather. The good news is they're not flying. If they get out, they get here, as opposed to going through another city. And so when it goes into Sagittarius, there's this energy of illusion. I'm not going to call it delusions, illusions of what I bought into with all this Libra, this transformation of the Venus energy in Scorpio, and along with a couple other higher aspects that are happening at that time. I kind of look at other people's delusions as the illusions they're trying to fit into their belief system versus their belief system is helping them look at the dreams they want to create, the world they want to create. And often when we deal with other people's illusions, it comes out rather delusional, and people will be on rants and raves. And sometimes so much so, have you ever, I know I have, really been very strong about something, and even inside your head, you're going, you don't care that much. Like, you don't, like you're going on, and finally another voice goes, what's this about? And you go, that's the kind of energy where people will kind of spin with it and then go, my
Yes.
bad.
Yes, yes. And with that energy on that same day of the 1223, we have that another portal, the 2323 portal, massive portal, because the 2323 comes out to that 5-5 energy. So just as Kitty is saying, massive change coming through in regards to taking a minute to think, like, is this really as important as I'm making it to be?
Is this really how I want to live my life? Or have I bought or inherited in my DNA? It's interesting you're talking about the 2020, the 2323 portal. Our 23, our DNA portal is very human.
And I'm glad you said that, because with that energy of the 23 DNA, it is shifting. This energy is shifting our DNA, which is why so many of us are. The word I'm hearing is why so many of us are changing. Why we are becoming very sensitive, and why when this is the other word I'm hearing, which is really funny, why we're not really willing to put up with the bullshit anymore.
No.
Because
if we hold that space of not putting up with it, but not necessarily, and this is where this month is going to, for some people, be a little bit more awry, is the righteous indignation. Be aware of that this month as it bubbles up, but it's really bubbling up to make you look at your belief around it.
Yes. Yes. Yes, I love that. Now, I know this is not a part of our topic for today, and you may not have the information in front of you, and I don't expect you to go running for it, to look for it, but I'm kind of curious, because I'm always curious. At this point in time, is Uranus, besides for Chiron, because I think Chiron goes direct January 1st, I think it is, if I'm not mistaken. When does Uranus go direct?
I can get it if you give me a minute.
Sure. I'm going to look on my phone too and see if I can get that information as well. Go to my little handy guy and see if it gives us that information.
I'm getting my ephemeris.
Oh, yes, January 27th, Uranus goes direct.
All right, I will leave you because I haven't gotten to it yet.
Yes, January.
So that means Uranus, well, according to this, it's the 26th, but the only thing that will still, the nodes go in and out constantly. So it will only be the nodes, and Mercury doesn't go retrograde again till April.
Okay.
And then we have, very interestingly, because we have Pluto now headed back in. That's coming up pretty quickly.
Pluto's going retrograde again?
No. Pluto is going to go into Aquarius again.
Oh, yes, that I know. Yes.
January's a very big month, going back over that Capricorn energy of the structures that it's been transforming back into the vision. And then it does retrograde for a shorter period of time again. And that's really important to understand, because that was a huge issue of this year. It's interesting. I'm going back to that King of Cups. Part of that King of Cups energy is that ultimate creativity, ultimate bigger energy, ultimate all of those things for us to be using in this time so that we are going through the transformation with, as much as Mercury stops our plans, we have the ability to put those other plans into place, gives us time to do it. And so I think with the last of the planets coming out and being direct, it's again in spring that we start. There is some big circle around spring. That's how we started this conversation today.
Yeah, because I was talking about something happening. When I was going to announce the date today, I was going to say March 10th as opposed
Look
to
at March 10th. Well, about that.
Yeah, yeah. And it is interesting because 2 days after March 10th, which is March 12th, it would be the anniversary of my mom's passing. I don't remember what the year would be. Is it going to be 13 years? It might be 13 years of her passing.
March 10th is the new moon in Pisces. And wow, there's a lot of action with Pluto that particular day. Pluto is a busy, busy camper. Pluto will be in Aquarius. It will be working with Mercury and the moon in Pisces.
So that should be a very interesting day for me, considering my sun energy is Pisces and my moon energy is Aquarius. Mm-hmm. So
there's a reason you should put the circle around March 10th.
Yes, I should put a circle around
and
there.
Of course, manifesting too. What is it? It is manifesting. So
yes, I love that. Now, a little while ago, you were mentioning something about, and I don't remember the energy you were talking about when you mentioned it. Something about the energy that we're in right now is something to do with when we were all slowly coming out of, I guess, the pandemic, on how theoretically with the pandemic, it slowed us down. And then, I mean, at least from my point of view anyway, I was really under the impression that as the so-called pandemic came to an end, that there was going to be these massive changes in the way many of us did things. Businesses were going to change. And I still believe that we're going to see massive change with businesses. You know, I've been talking to you about, I believe that the fitness industry is going to change something wickedly. And I use that word. That word just like literally came out. I've never used that word that way. But I think the fitness industry is going to change.
That's wickedly. A very main way to use it. Wicked.
Yeah.
Wicked
and,
good.
And I feel like I'm ahead of the game. Like I'm at the front of the line because for whatever the reasons are, intuitively, I was just getting this intuitive hit. Pretty much at the time when I was making the decision to close down my studio. And so many people were asking me, well, why would you want to close down your studio? And I kept saying, because the fitness industry is not going to be what we're knowing it to be. And there's going to be massive changes coming in with the fitness industry. I mean, right off the bat, what's the name of the gym? I don't even remember the name of the gym. A big corporation. They are literally changing their whole floor setup. They're literally getting rid of most of their cardio equipment, like their treadmills, their ellipticals, their stair climbers. Most of that stuff they're clearing out, and they're just going to have open space because they really want to put more of a focus of getting the members to either get into classes or get into the weight room. And I think a big part of that is because the fitness industry is finally catching up and realizing that all the cardiovascular benefits that they talked about many years back, they're now seeing a lot of evidence that strength training has those benefits plus more benefits. So that's going to be a big part of the changes that are coming through. And I think with the pandemic, we're going to see a lot more changes taking place. What is your feel on that?
On the fitness industry?
Well, not the fitness industry so much. Just generally. Yeah, I want your take on the fitness industry, Miss Kitty.
I'm just listening to you going, oh, that's really interesting. My take on these shifts that are coming. There is
like businesses and all that. Like, do you feel that there's going to be a major shift in businesses? corporations,
I
that
think
is.
there's a major shift in reality. Again, what is delusional has to do a lot with the illusions people want to hold on to. And those of us that are working very hard and tapping more and more into things just shift when we ask and let them shift, that's where I think you're going to see the difference in businesses, what takes off. And there is a real, I don't even know what it is, reality divergence for the road less traveled. That is where more of mankind is headed. Does that make any sense?
Oh yeah, I think so. Like today, I was in another big shopping center, and I would always say these self checkout lines that they have, that they really should minimize how many items a person has for self checkout. That a person who has, let's say, 60 items in their cart should not really be on a self checkout line. And I don't know, the universe was really listening to me when I spoke, because I was on the line today, and there's literally signs. They have new signs on the self checkout things that actually say 15 items or less. I'm like, wow. I said, you mean people with 60 items in their cart cannot go here? Wow, that's amazing. It's also amazing too, because I truly believe that those who are going to go on the regular line also means they need cashiers there, which means people are going to have a job. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
You know.
So, yeah, because there's a big super box store that ends in Mart, and it is going the opposite way. More and more self checkouts, and I swear that the only people who work the cashiers are trainees, because that's all I ever see. And I'm thinking, this is one reason I will find other stores to go to, because I don't want jobs to go. And frankly, you know, I prefer to have somebody help me check out and do all those things. I just do.
Well, when you think about the self checkout, I mean, I know for me, I have new skills now, because I know how to scan my item. You know, I know how to like figure out like how much each thing is. I'm like, wow, these are new skills that I can now put on my resume that I didn't have before. You know, thanks to these companies that want to have self checkout, that many of us have these new skills. There's no reason why we can all not have a job now, because we have new skills. We know how to scan our stuff, pack it up, and take it to go.
Well, I would think people to fix self checkout machines is a new future job for people.
Yes, that too. Yes. So we're going to start pulling some cards. So this right here will give you some more insight regarding this amazing retrograde that we are in as of the 13th. We are literally like hours away of the shadow period being over, and the actual retrograde being on, which is
there's a portal. There's all those portals in between, especially the 12-12 portal.
Yes. It's lots of portals this week.
And then we have the 12-21.
Yeah, well, I was just about to say, this week and next week we have massive portals. And again, if we only had one portal in the week, that would be fine. Then it would not be so overwhelming to our energy system. But because we have literally 3 portals back to back this week, and then we have 3 portals back to back next week, because next week we go into the 12, what is it? Let me get my notes a second, because I have it written down.
So that's a great time to have a Mercury retrograde, because it makes us pause.
Yes.
And let the energy move through.
Yes.
Oh, and then the card that shows up, detox.
Ah, yes. What do we need to detox in reference to our
thought? And it's a 3. Of course it is.
Of course. Why would it not be?
12, yeah.
Yes. So the portals for the following week are 12/20/2023, which is that 2020 portal. And then we have 12/21, which is our winter solstice. And then that's when the sun enters Capricorn. Now, Kitty, do they both happen at the same time this year?
No, they are a little separate.
Okay.
Last year they were exactly the same.
Okay. And then we also have 1222 portal. And then we have the 1223 portal. So next week's portal, we have 4 portals in a row. And then we'll have a little break. And then we have our massive portal at the very end, the last day of the year, 12/31/2023. So these next 2.5 weeks of 2023 is going to be quite interesting, to say the least.
So don't be surprised when your plans don't go as planned.
Well, I have a lot of plans coming in, Miss Kitty.
And as I said that, the card that flew out was, I don't even know how to say this, Eunonia, everything in perfect balance. This is the Magic Blue deck. And it's an 8. So it is all about that transformative energy.
Now, I have to share something. Now, I'm not in the habit that when I shake up my card and the card falls out, that I put the card back. I'm not in the habit of doing that. But for whatever the reasons are, when the card flew out, I just threw the card back in, shuffled the cards again, and the same damn card flew out. So obviously, the universe wants me to share this card with us.
That's a message from my mother. 7 and 8, 15, Mom, 15.
Yes. So about being fearless. This is about being fearless. So whatever you are afraid of, do it anyway. The orange energy is about your sacral chakra. Now, I had shared a post this afternoon on Facebook. When we're talking about the sacral energy is connected to our inner child wounds. It's connected to our mothers, the relationship we have with our mom and ourselves. And I don't know if you guys know this. I'm sure Kitty knows this because I'm sure I've shared this with her a million times, but maybe she's forgotten. This energy is about the connection that you have with your mom during the time that she was conceiving you. Prior to that time, how her energy was, because we carry that energy as well. Now, not everybody can go back and ask their mother, what her life was like in the time when, during that period of time when she was thinking of conception, because sometimes they don't know. But if you are blessed enough to still have your mom here, and you can have that conversation, ask your mom what was going on in her life at the time, where she might have been in that thought process, or she could think back to that time, because you carry that energy of whatever that was. That's a part of your womb. So I always find that to be fascinating. Now, if I only knew this at the time when my mom was alive, I probably would have asked my mom, hey, Mom, what was going on at the time when you conceived me, before that part? Like, what were you thinking about? What were you doing? Was you and Dad in good terms? Because that all plays a role in the energy that we carry now. So, and that 7-8 energy, which is that 15, which is 6, this is about healing whatever the childhood wounds are. And this is the piece that I shared on Facebook that I posted. To work on healing your childhood wounds and your sacral energy, a really quick way is literally laying on the floor and bending the knees, lift your hips up off the floor, doing a hip bridge, and swaying your hips side to side and up and down, because that activates the sacral energy and it moves that energy and helps you to move it out. So if there's anything that's going on with your childhood wounds and you want that energy to get cleared, do that for a little while. It's a fun thing to do, and you don't even have to really lay on the floor. You can just sit in the chair, rock your hips side to side, and that will get that circulating as well. A little more information than you all needed to know today, but why not? It's the year and the gift of giving, yes?
Yes.
Yes. What are the cards you have going?
I have 2 cards that came out.
Oops. So I.
One is 24, a 6. You belong to paradise. And the other is, they go right together. It's a 9. So these are very cosmic numbers. Mosaic. Let's chance play as a creative role in your life. So you belong to paradise, and putting the mosaic, using play, just what you were saying, Joanne, about tapping into that child, that whole agreements that you came in with. Look at the mosaic of that and take that play. Let's put it in our lives.
Yes.
And it's very, the other part sitting at the top is it's doable.
Yes, and I love the fact that today, I think this is the first time this has happened for Kitty and I. Her mother's numbers came in, that's 7-8, yes?
Yes.
And my mother's numbers came in, which is the 24th.
Oh, it
So
did.
it's very, yes, the card you just had was 24.
Right. Yours had my mother's, mine had yours. Yep.
Exactly. I love that. It's the first time that Kitty and I are playing together, and that's actually happened.
So tell us why your mother's number is 24, and I'll tell you why my mother's number is 7 and 8, which is 15.
Okay. Well, my mother is born on the 24th of the month in October. So, and many of you know this already who follow me regularly. Anytime I see the number 1024, October is when the month she's born. The 24th is the day she's born. And so that's why that number is significant for me. And yours, Kitty?
When I was little, my mother worried about my math skills, which is rather amusing, because I didn't learn my math addition facts like this. I used my fingers. So she was always worried about, and when multiplication came, you couldn't use your fingers, so other than nines. So I learned them. But she had worries about that. And I was not, which was the child I was. And she would say at morning breakfast, 7 and 8, Kitty, 7 and 8, 7 plus 8. And I'd say, 15, Mom. And she'd see me count. She goes, can't you just learn it was 15? It was just this whole thing. And so as I taught school, after my mother passed away when I was 12, my first mother. And I realized one day, I call them, Amy and I both call them divine does. Like you realize something else and you go, oh man, that's been blah, 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 blah all my life. The entire time I was a teacher, I'd say 7 and 8, 15, Mom. It got to the point where kids would go, 15, like point out too. And it took me until 2020, really, all of a sudden I went, oh my God, I'd always said, oh, I want a sign from Mom. That the whole thing with signs and synchronicities is you start to learn they've been there. You just haven't seen them.
Exactly.
Them. Yeah.
Exactly. And you just mentioned another number that represents my mom, which is the 12.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes, because March 12th is the day my mom got her wings. 8 days after my birthday. She had actually gone into the hospital the night of my birthday. Where she was rushed to the hospital the evening of my birthday and spent 8 days there and came home and decided which we already knew that, she was going to come home, spend a little time at home and cross over. So, we didn't know she was actually going to cross over that day, but it was something that was eventually going to happen based on the situation. 2 cards that flew out my deck. Talking about the numbers, we can't make this shit up if we try. 38 and 56, 11, 11.
11, 11.
So we're
personal
all
favorite of mine.
Yes, which is again numbers that resonate with Kitty because that's her birthday. 11, 11. Isn't that something?
And it's heart and is that purple? Sometimes on the screen.
Third eye.
The third eye. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
I don't know if it was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which are 2 perfect cards for what Kitty and I have been chatting about regarding Mercury's retrograde, where do not be surprised if your plans sort of shift a little bit during New Year's. Or is this also during Christmas too, or just New Year's?
What? Mercury retrograde?
No, that plans may change up a little bit.
Oh, it's the main weeks of Mercury in retrograde. Yes.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Yes. So do not be surprised. So that, again, when we talk about it, visualizing whatever it is you wish to visualize and the matters of the heart, which is, I believe it's about family. And the word is faith. So have faith that whatever it is supposed to be is what's going to happen. And remember that this is a perfect time for master teachers to show up. So keep your eyes and ears open. You may be a master teacher yourself, so there's going to be lots of people listening to you and paying attention to what it is you're sharing out there. So know that you're a master teacher and also know that you're a student, so you're learning something as well. So I'm loving those 2 numbers of 11, 11. And as I always say, when we see 11, 11, it's an opportunity to take a moment to if you want, close your eyes and just make a wish. Wish upon a star and just allow that light to bring it
Makes
in.
no difference who you are.
There you go. There you go.
All right, so what's my final card for the night? Let's see. What is it out there, spirit source, that you would like people to know? If they're watching this, this is for you. And it is, you can't make this up. Sacral chakra.
Ah,
Feel alive with the energy.
there you go.
And
There you
our
go.
thing on the top is allow yourself to say no, set your boundaries, and remember that if your plans change, there is a reason. All is well. That's what it's
Oh,
for.
I'm loving this card, and quite interesting. This card that bangs in, our last card of the night. Talking about boundaries, talking about learning to say no. Also learning that as we move into 2024, many of us through 2023 have had an opportunity to restructure our boundaries. And that also means what are you married to? What habits, beliefs, programming, philosophies are you married to that you might be divorcing? And the card that showed up is marriage. Marriage. Now, yeah, this could also mean that, yes, maybe there's a marriage coming through in 2024. Maybe it's a marriage that you're going to have with yourself as well. That is something I had learned from one of my teachers a few years ago. When she would speak of marriage, she always reminded us who was in the group that we must learn to marry ourselves first. We must be willing to marry ourselves before we are ready to marry somebody else. So sit down and write what it is you would want from yourself, so you get super clear to what it is you'd like in a partnership with somebody else. And remember that marriage is also the partnership that you do have with spirit, which is the crown energy anyway. That double 8 is our 7 energy, which is the energy we're in right now in 2023. This is our spiritual journey, spiritual evolution. So many people this year have been really raving and shouting and everything else about how challenging this year has been for so many, that this, as many people have been saying, this has been the roughest year that most people have gone through. I guess they've forgotten about the pandemic. You know, so quickly on how we forget things all of a sudden that this happens to be.
If it's been so rough, why has that come back around for you? Like,
Exactly.
what maybe did you look at 2020? How and that was rough, that you can look at the gifts now of all these other things.
Yeah.
So,
And when we think about the 7 energy, that's what this energy is about. It's our spiritual journey. This is the year that every one of us had the time to quiet down and learn about ourselves. It wasn't about me learning about Kitty. I didn't need to know about Kitty. I need to know about me. Kitty was mirroring things for me so I could see myself. That's what Kitty did for me. You know, that's what every person does for you, is they stand there and they show you so you can learn about yourself. Now, as we move into 2024, that's our 8 energy of abundance. So all of the work that we've done this year helps us move into the abundance for 2024. The abundance, the harmony, the balance. And should we say it again, Miss Kitty? Because we've said it a lot this year, thanks to Joe Monkman. The joy.
the joy, especially this month, tapping into that. When you're feeling you're pulled towards the other, what joyful thing, what creative, that King of Cups, can I do? Because I have the power in the moment to do this versus the other things I'm starting to wind up about.
Yeah.
What's mine to do and what belongs to the universe.
Exactly. And for those of you out there who are finding or will find that Mercury retrograde is a challenge for you, it's an opportunity for you to see, why is this so challenging for me? What am I supposed to be learning about this? Don't just look at this as the challenge that, oh my God, this is so hard. Okay, step back a minute. Find out how you can do it in a different way so it's not so hard. Because think of it as this. If you had to get over that hard, like you literally had to get over it, how can you do it? Because you can't go the other way. There's no other way. You have to get over that hard. So how can you do it so it's not so hard for you during this Mercury retrograde. And that's how you have to think about it during this retrograde if you see it as hard. You're going to have to figure it out so it's not so hard because you got to get over it. You got to get over it. You can't go back. There's no space back there. There's nothing there.
Don't look that way. Don't look back. Exactly. You're not going that way.
Exactly.
Don't look back. You're not going that way.
Exactly. So there you have it. So Kitty and I, as usual, I had so much fun. How about you, Kitty?
I have a good time, yes. If you've been seeing me, look, my dog has decided he's got a new place he's going to lay now. So I'm like, so.
Yes. And Kitty, you have holiday specials going on. Shout them out. Let them know about it.
I have, and my rates are going up on January 1st.
Yay!
My friend Joanne's been saying, stop that. And so this will be the last holiday special where you can get 3 readings. That can be a solar, a natal, a synastry, just a look at where you are in your transitions, a look at a period of life that we found particularly difficult. You want to take a look at what the aspects were. And it's 3 readings for $150. You may gift them to people. You may use all 3 yourself. And until midnight tonight, if you buy it now, so that'll be, I think I'm going to extend it to the 1212 portal. I will throw in a 4th reading, a mini reading for somebody that you want to send. So
love that. Love that.
And you can contact me at intuitionofthesoul11@gmail.com. It's scrolling around the bottom. Or if you are brave enough to write down that name, Budewig Foss, you can send me a message on Messenger, and we can communicate that way. So either way.
Excellent. Excellent. And for those of you who are interested, I posted on Facebook today, I'm offering a free group strength training class on Tuesday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. It's a half hour. Plan to be with me for 45 minutes, though, because the half hour we're going to work together, and the last 15 minutes of the class, we're going to have a chat in regards to everything that we've experienced in the class. The whole idea of this class for you ladies out there is for you to create a strength training routine.
What will you need for the class?
Oh, thank you for mentioning that, because I almost forgot. If you do not have weights, because I know that's a big question that many people are asking, and many people think, oh, I can't take class because I don't have weights. You don't need weights. I know it's strength training. Grab yourself 2 water bottles. Fill them up, and that's what you'll use for the workout. You're going to use something just to get the feel of it, because ideally this is going to be like the sketch of what a strength training workout will look like for you. So it's free class. If you want to sign up for it, my email scrolling on the bottom, or you can just go ahead and message me and say, send me the Zoom link. It's Tuesday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. It's for all levels, so do not be worried if, oh my God, it's going to be too hard for me or it's going to be too easy. It's for all levels. And I want to also point out there as well, for anybody out there who is either pre-surgery or post-surgery, it's even for you. So there's no excuses here. You know, I don't know if you guys know about this about me. I don't think Kitty knows this about me, but I'm actually a certified specialized post-rehab trainer.
So I didn't know that.
Yes. I'm a post-rehab trainer. Prior to getting my hip replaced, and after getting my hip replaced, I spent about 2 years in training in rehab, as in a nursing home and also in hospitals. So I specialize in that as well, which is why there's no excuse for anybody out there. This is for you. Come join, and I'll also be running some.
When we get off, I got an idea is coming forth. All right, so just.
I'll remind you, yes. And in regards to other holiday specials I have going, just keep an eye out this week. I'll be posting different ones each day as I've been doing, and whichever one resonates with you, you can hop on them. So enjoy your night, everybody, until Kitty and I come together again, which I'm sure we will very soon, probably next week.
So, namaste.
Namaste, everyone.
Happy seasons of light.
Yes.